Today what we're going to do is we're going to continue with chapter 10 and we're moving on to 10.2, which is finding arc measures. And now there's some things that we need to know about arc measures. First of all, arc measures are equal to the central angle. And the question is well, what is a central angle? The key to this definition is right in here. A central angle deals with the center of the circle. Okay, so if you think of center and central, it's way easy. So what that means is if I have an angle like that, the vertex of the angle is in the center of the circle, and that's considered the central angle. So a central angle is where the vertex of the angle is at the center of the circle. Okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about measures. And what measures are is it's how many degrees the angle is. So if I take a look at the angle that I just drew here, let's say it's 100 degrees. Then the arc measure of the angle is also 100 degrees. And that's that right there. Okay, so it's the angle, but it's also this part of the circle is also 100 degrees. Now, let's go back and let's talk a little bit about different types of angles. So we're going to talk about semicircle, we're going to talk about major arc, and we're going to talk about minor arc. What a semicircle is it's an arc with endpoints that make up the diameter. So an example of a semicircle, if I come down here and I draw a picture of a circle. Here's my circle. Here's the center of my circle. Here's the diameter. A semicircle is one where it's the arc that goes with the diameter. Now it can be up above or it can be down below. It doesn't really matter. And a semicircle is 180 degrees always. Okay? Now we're going to talk about a major arc and a minor arc. A major arc is an arc that is larger than 180 degrees. So if I take a look at my circle that's up here, let's call this A, right here, this point right here. Let's call the vertex B, and let's call this vertex C. If I'm going to talk about a major arcs are named with 3 letters, and it's greater than 180 degrees. So the major arc in this circle is ABC. It's this piece right here, because it's more than 180 degrees, and I'm going to name it with 3 letters. So down here, I'm going to call it arc ABC. Always named with 3 letters. Okay? Now let's take a look at a minor arc. A minor arc is an arc that is smaller than 180 degrees. So if I look at my picture up here, an arc that is smaller than 180 degrees would be this arc right here. And it's named with 2 letters. So this would be arc AC. So arc AC, and it's always named with 2 letters. And you're going to notice that it has a little arcy thing over the top. So it's not an angle, it's an arc. All right, let's keep going and let's look at a few of these things. This is going to make a little bit more sense as we go through it. It says, find the arc measures and tell me the type of arc it is. So you're going to notice that I've got categories. I've got arc, I've got measure, and I've got type. So let's look at AC. If I look at them, you're going to notice that it's 2 letters. So if it's 2 letters, I know that it's going to be a minor arc. I know that. It's going to be less than 180 degrees. And let's take a look at this picture. So I'm going to look at AC. So it's AC, the arc, right there. Well, you're going to notice that I've got 2 little things right here, and that means that those angles are congruent. So I know that this little piece is 27, and this is also 27. So the measure then is 2 times 27, which is 54 degrees. Again, don't just pull 54 out of thin air. Make sure you show your work on how you got that 54. And you're going to notice it makes sense that it's a minor arc because it's less than 180 degrees. Now let's go and take a look at the next one. It's ADE. So let's look at ADE. I'm going to come back up here. I'm going to erase what I have. And I'm looking at arc ADE. Now you're going to notice that the end point is A, the end point is E, and you're going to notice that it ran through the center of the circle, that chord. And so AE, line segment AE, that is the diameter of the circle. So there really is no work to show on this one. I know the measure is 180 degrees because the beginning and the end point are on the diameter, and I'm ending up with a semicircle. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to come back to my picture. I'm going to erase it. And I'm looking at arc DAF. So I'm going to come back up here. I'm going to go DAF. Okay, now there's a couple of things that I need to take a look at. Okay, I knew that that was 27. I know that this is 27. Okay. I know that if this and this hug this angle right here, then I know that this right here, this piece right here, this is a vertical angle. Okay, and so I know that this is 54 degrees, and I don't have to show any work because it's already there. Okay, I also know that this is 90 degrees. And so if I'm looking at DAF, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 360 degrees because that's the whole circle. I'm going to subtract the 90 degrees, and I'm also going to subtract the 54 degrees. And so I end up with 216 degrees, which is a major arc. Okay, again, I'm going to come back up here if you got a little bit confused. Let me erase this and go back through it again. Okay, so I'm looking at DAF. Okay, I'm sorry. Yep, DAF. Went too far. DAF. So this piece right here. So this is what I'm trying to find, this part right here. And I need to subtract those other 2 parts. So again, this was 90 degrees right here. This was 54 degrees here because the 54 was created because of the vertical angles that was here and here. And so that's how I get the 216 degrees. All right, that's it for today's lesson. If you have any questions, please ask.